Hello everyone, welcome to Samiksha Academy. Let's read today's newspaper. So this ad is about Bengal Global Summit, but see the key point here. Kanak Durga, Kolkata's Durga Puja. It is one of the intangible sites. I think you know other intangible sites like Vedic chanting, Kumbh Mela, right? Chow dance. So these are some of the things that are considered as intangible cultural heritage sites. So they got recognized by UNESCO. So in this context, just have an idea about this. Next, so here Musk's doggy gains access to treasury payment systems. I think this is all about the recent steps taken by Trump administration, especially to reduce governmental spending. So the very name says Department of Government Efficiency. Its very purpose is to limit the governmental spending, but it's not a traditional body of US government. It is appointed on the orders of US President Donald Trump. So in this context, you just have a look at it. Along with Elon Musk, another individual called as Indian origin businessman Vivek Ramaswamy, he also got appointed as advisor for reducing government spending. See here, protests erupted in Argentina. The reason for the protests, in the recently concluded World Economic Forum Summit, Argentinian president. Okay, so when he visited Davos, there he made some comments. Those comments are actually against this wokeism. That means those people who will be fighting for the progressive ideas, like those people who will be fighting for LGBT rights, who will be fighting for feminism, right? So in this context, the comments he made angered some people in Argentina. So then they started protesting. So a global development, we need to pay attention for that. Again, see this one. UK Strammer welcomes calls to his country yesterday as his touts reset with ties. So this we can understand post-Brexit developments between European Union and Britain. So after Britain after coming out of this European Union, understood. Now it wants to reset its ties with them, especially in defense, energy and trade. So in this context, this bonhomie between German Chancellor and UK's Prime Minister need to be understood. Next, see this. Pakistan's army chief vows to defeat frenemies, friends of enemies. Right? This, especially this comment he raised. So after Pakistan, 18 of Pakistan soldiers got killed in the Baluch, one of the districts of Baluch province. That is this Kalat district. What we can understand from this is, here as you all know, the snake you nurtured started, if it starts biting you, will start feeling the hate. The country that harbored lot many terrorist groups, the same terrorist groups now operating against this country. For example, here you see this Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan, TTP, and these separatist movements in Balochistan. So they are posing a lot of challenges to Pakistan. Understood that? So this you should understand. See this one, DeepSeek. So in the recent past, DeepSeek is echoing everywhere because it is one of the low cost Chinese AI tool. But now will it influence like Chinese Communist Party? Right now the whole country is being led by single party. So up to what extent these kind of AI tools threatens the grip of this Communist Party of China. Understood that? So this is what it is all about. That means like how powerful technology. Till now, since 1949, if you see, is the same party that's part of the Chinese Revolution controlling the Chinese politics. Now with this coming up of technology, up to what extent China will try to control it? Because as of now, if you see, most of the political news hardly we will getting from China, except that is state sponsored. So in this context, we have to see how DeepSeek will eventually pose a threat to this one party rule. Next, today's headlines mostly about this Delhi elections, as elections are approaching. Just one day left for the elections. So next, this is all about that. Yes, this is important. See, Trump's started his trade war by putting sanctions on Canada, Mexico and China. Okay, but another sad news here, as we just a few days back we discussed, ISRO planned for 100th launch. So this time the 100th satellite launch, we thought of to launch our NVS2, the next line of satellites to modernize our Navik system, right? So our own Indian regional navigation satellite system. So we planned for that, we launched it, but unfortunately this navigation satellite fails to reach its intended orbit. Understood? So in this context we have to understand the recent developments with respect to science and technology, especially in the context of space sector. Next, as you all know, in day before yesterday also, while discussing about budget speech of Sitaraman, our finance minister, so we discussed about this one, changes made with respect to cut in import duties. On lot many products, Government of India cut the import duties, what we used to call that is basic customs duty, BCD. So this will be definitely, the very purpose is to get more, to give a message to the world that here we are here for investment friendly, we are encouraging more of imports. So it is to give a message. At the same time you can also understand it is a kind of reaction to US, because USA used to feel like it only importing from India. Understood? So when you try to export, we have customs duties. So it's a kind of message that is also we can understand from this. That's what the finance secretary has to say. Next, the good news, yesterday in the under 19 in the under 19 World Cup, so that happened in Kuala Lumpur, our Indian team won it. So we must be appreciating the effort. Next, here not much. Again here it's an advertisement. Here again I couldn't see much. Next, again here, see this, just see the headline: governments come and go, parties change, but our lives remain stagnant. The flesh workers, the sex workers at GB Road in Delhi. So their plight, especially right now during the time of elections, we must understand that that is one of the largest union of sex workers at that particular place. See, this is again important. National Assessment and Accreditation Council, the body that is responsible for what you call assessing the performance of higher education institutions, the body that gets funded by university like UGC. University Grants Commission. Okay. So what is the issue here? The issue is this particular body, it will be assessing the performance of the higher education institutes. So while doing that, it needs to assess one of the so-called reputed institute from the state of Andhra Pradesh named as KL University, right? But here the issue is, what's the allegation here? Why CBI has to file a case? Here the NAC team, the NAC team headed by one individual and the KLU's administration, they both got colluded, so that after offering a prize to them, they will be giving higher accreditation status to the KLU, thereby improving its performance. So it's a pure case of cheating. So that's the reason case FIR filed by CBI against both the college, the university administration and the NAC team and its chairperson who dealt with this particular institute. So this is what we have to understand. So that's what I highlighted here. Next, see this, the budget. So if you see the essence of the budget, outreach to middle class, right? Bihar outreach, as year end we have elections in Bihar. So that's why we have seen this Makana board. But the interesting fact here is this Makana board. Why Makana board only in Bihar? Why? Because only in the Bihar itself accounts for 80% of the lotus seeds. Okay. So that's the reason Government is planning to establish a Makhana board there. It is also planning to establish National Institute of Food Technology, Enterprising and Management. Understood. And this Western Koshi Canal project in Mithilanchal, under Purvodaya, it is planning for what you call that this modern providing funds to this IIT Patna, right? But critics used to argue that this time, as elections are approaching, this time the most of the union budget is Bihar budget. But however, there is also things with respect to farmers outreach. I think you might have, we also discussed about this scheme, Pradhan Mantri Dhanadhanya Krishi Yojana. Especially if they will be choosing around 100 districts where the crop intensity is weak, where there is low productivity, their government wants to provide funds and technical facilities to improve the crop productivity, similar to aspirational districts program. So this is some of the essence this we can understand from this. Along with that, detailed one we already discussed in that in one of the videos of finance minister's speech. If anyone wants, you can go just have a look at that. Next here, I couldn't see much. See this one. The reason why I highlighted this: leopard wanders into public park near Pune, man-animal conflict. Because if we try to enter into their space, they will not be having any other option. They have to come to our space. Again, see here, backward classes survey of Telangana population. Interestingly, 56% of them are OBCs, other backward classes. Close to 17.4. 17.4% are scheduled castes, and around how much it is? 10.45. That means close to 18% are scheduled castes, close to 10% are scheduled tribes, close to 56% are OBCs. The size of if you combine all the 56 plus 17, 56 plus 10, 66, 66 plus 7, around 73, 70, 83. That means close to 85%. Close to 85% of the state's population are either OBC, scheduled caste, scheduled, that means non-general category. You can just understand. So that means how politics will play, how politics will be played in the future. That means who will be the major base. This you can understand here. So it's a promise made by Congress government during its campaign during the time of elections. So eventually now they got the data. Earlier Bihar also did this. So there also we have major chunk of population are OBCs. So this we have to understand. Next it is India-Indonesia ties rooted in years of shared culture. As you all know, recently Indonesian president visited India as the special guest for Republic Day. So in this context, we already discussed about India-Indonesia relations during the time of Cold War. We didn't maintain much relationship, though earlier both India and Indonesia were founding members of NAM, Non-Alignment Movement, Sukarno of Indonesia and Jawaharlal Nehru of India. For that matter, in 1955 Bandung Conference. So that also took place in Indonesia. So that time both became independent. Both want to be non-aligned to both First World and Second World. That is, those days USA on one side, USSR on the other side. But eventually, because of the threat emanating from China, Indonesia shifted closely towards US. After the end of the Cold War, our relationship got established, especially with the launch of our Look East policy. Understood? So now it is one of the closest partners in the Asian countries. So we are having good relationship with Indonesia. So it is a positive sign. Next, so this again a CM's advisor quits, more fishes in Karnataka. For long we are hearing about it. Next, after long absence from public eye, BRS chief hints at making a political comeback. Okay. Upper caste should manage tribal affairs portfolio. So this statement of Suresh Gopi, it draws some criticism. The reason being that though he said his intention is not like the tribal affairs ministry should the tribal efforts portfolio should be managed by upper caste. So any portfolio should be managed by anybody irrespective of the caste. That's the point he raised. But some people draw criticism from that. Eventually he said, if my comments create any kind of anger, I would like to withdraw them. That's the statement given by him. Next, this is with respect to Kumbh Mela. As Amrit Snan, this Basant Panchami, because of wide fencing extra forces, you all know the reason, because of the recent stampede, we need to beef up the security. So here I think you all know about this MH370 way back in 2014. These Malaysian, like Malaysian government, this particular flight, right, it got missed. So how it got missed with the close to 230 passengers, nobody knows. So once again in the month of December, they tried to resume the operations to find out the whereabouts of the 239 people who missed. So what exactly happened to this flight? So how still it's a mystery, though we advanced this much in terms of science and technology, but still we could not able to trace out what exactly happened to this flight, how we missed it. Understood. So in this context there is an update. So here they collected one story of an individual who lost his wife. Still he couldn't able to trace out the location, like what happened to her. So the same is the fate with the rest of the 238 people. So this is with respect to, this is again very much important. This particular article, it mentioned about the plight of domestic workers, right? That's what she mentioned, my workplace, your home. So if I am a domestic worker, mostly where I will be working? I will be working in somebody else's private place. Point number one. Point number two, most of the time my work is not that, my work doesn't hold much value comparing with other works. So devalued work. Third thing, the third important thing, technically even the minimum wages act also did not recognize my work as a work. That there is no recognition even in the minimum wages act. So technically there is no recognition for the work, socially the work is devalued, right? And because my work is at the private space, that is at individual's home, there will be a lot of threat to me. Understood. So that's about the domestic work. Even India yet to sign even this ILO's convention. Even this ILO's convention with respect to domestic workers also India did not sign. Why? Because if we sign that, we need to submit data time to time. So at least now it's time for us to recognize this work as official work, right? As it should be part of the act. We must provide, because if you recognize that these people also will be getting the recognition, they will be getting social security. As you all know, most of the workers, those people who especially are working in cities, are migrants. They will not be having any kind of social security with respect to health insurance, with respect to any kind of benefits that they need to avail from the government. Understood. So in this context, this article I felt very much important. That's the reason I highlighted here. This private space, the socially devalued. Though code on wages by definition covers this sector, but still the Minimum Wages Act yet to recognize it. So that's about this particular article. Here it is important. Here the reason why I highlighted some points here, in the budget speech this year, the finance minister used some quotes. So the first quote, because to mention that this budget is people's budget, she said, she quoted the Telugu poet's words like Deshumante Matti Kado, Deshumante Manushule. That means the country is not just its soil, a country is its people. She also mentioned, she quoted this Thirukural's quote, there she mentioned, just as living beings live expecting rains, citizens live by expecting good governance. So if you see all these quotes, here the 1991 budget presentation quote by Manmohan Singh, he quoted Victor Hugo, he mentioned, no power on earth can stop an idea whose time has come. No power on earth can stop the idea whose time has come. That means economic liberalization is given because its time has come. It's time to liberate Indian economy. So very important. So that's the reason I highlighted, because finance ministers, to present their point, what they want to convey in essence, sometimes they will be using this kind of quotes to verses. So that's what the point here. Again, I couldn't find much. Next, see this, cleaning manhole. Still manual scavenging is an issue. 3 people died. Again, see, this is very important in the context of science and technology with respect to defense technology, right? You know about this very short range air defense system, SHORADS we say. What is SHORADS? Very short range air defense system. This air defense system we can carry on our shoulders. What we call that as the man pads, right? Man portable air defense system. That's what I highlighted here. See. So DRDO operating this, developing this SHORADS, very short range air defense system. With their short range, but they are very portable that even we individually can operate it. So that's what is called as manpad. That manpad means man portable air defense system. So in the context of prelims, it is very much important. So you have to pay attention for that. Next, I think this few days back we discussed. Maharashtra panel suggests 5-year ban from these bogus subsidies. Anybody wants to claim these bogus subsidies from this Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana, anyone tries to claim, then put a ban of 5 years at least. So that's the thing they are planning for. And this is about Trump's tariff volleys. Again, with respect to the GST rationalization, simplification in the works, industry talks underway, because in the recent past, because once again, though the purpose for which we came up with GST, one country, one nation, one tax, again we are going with multiple slabs, so that they want to rationalize, so on which talks are going on. Next, this just headline. Again, see here, we already discussed about this Uttarakhand to regulate live-in relationship. The crux is point number 1. This UCC is only for heterosexuals, no homosexuals are allowed to have a relationship, live-in relationship, point number 1. Second thing, if the relationship comes under prohibited categories, religious leaders' permission is required. Point number 2. 1 is only for heterosexuals. 2, if the relationship comes under prohibited categories, then religious leaders' permission is required. Okay. Next, another important factor, parents' consent. If the age is less than 21 years of age, parents' consent is required. This is another important factor. Third point. Next, in live-in relationships, first, if they enter into live-in relationship, they have to register. If they want to come out of it, that also should be registered. Why? Because here, if once you come out of the relationship, you will be getting maintenance. Similar to once happening of the divorce, how the wife gets the alimony. In the similar case, here also the woman will get the maintenance. This is another important aspect here. Next one is, there will be legitimacy with respect to child. The live-in couple, if they give birth to any child, so with respect to child's legal rights, it is mentioned here, it got recognized. So these are some of the aspects here we have to understand with respect to UCC, Uniform Civil Code, with respect to live-in relationship, recently passed by Uttarakhand state government. Clear? That is about it. Next, here see here, few days back we discussed about this internal conflicts in Congo between this M23 rebel group and the Congo's army. Of course, it is to fight for the resources, but here, who are these people? This M23 consists of this Tutsi and Hutu. So these are the two major groups. In the earlier also, this Tutsi groups, they have their higher presence in Rwanda. Earlier against this group only this genocide took place. Understood? Now this Tutsi group, their argument that on this March 23, 2009, there is an accord between this Tutsi and Hutus in Congo. But now these people's this rebels' argument is that this Congo government violated the agreement by not allowing good amount of representation for this Tutsi group. So that's why these people are fighting for that Rwanda government giving it support. But ultimately the most important thing is these people actually controlling this coltan mining. What this coltan? Coltan is a mineral that we use in the smartphones. Congo is a belt for that. So that's why in the context of exam, try to understand what exactly this coltan is all about, right? Mineral that we are using for in smartphones, where it is available? It is available in Congo. In that context, you have to understand this. Next, rest you can just leave. So this is about the, you can just try to get an idea about this FIDE and freestyle chess, because now earlier there is an issue between this FIDE. FIDE means the body that is responsible for organizing world chess championships. Again, there is another division within that. There is another type of chess game, the what that is called as the freestyle chess. So these people also wants to organize this world championships. Then but FIDE disagreed with that. Why? Because FIDE used to get more amount of funds for its world championships. If freestyle also organize a separate world championship, it may dilute the it may dilute the organizational this world championship program of FIDE. So that's the reason there was a tussle here. Eventually they wants to end this tussle. That's about it. Next, after that, it's an ideas exchange, not much. Sport, unbeaten India stamp the dominance to defend under 9 World Cup crown. We must congratulate the women power here, especially our girl child. Again, this is with respect to sports. So that's it for the day. Thank you.